All right, welcome everybody to Beyond the Build. We are so excited for this LinkedIn Live. My name is Talia Cohen. I'm a staff dev advocate here at Postman. I'm going to be your host for today's session. We're here every other Thursday. We're going to be showing you the latest and greatest things coming out of Postman product teams. So if you've been wondering what's new, you are definitely in the right place. We have some really incredible demos today. Today we have four presenters, 4 demos. And just remember throughout the live stream today, if you have questions, be sure to pop them in the chat so we can answer them. And that's it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it to our first presenter, Ryan, who is an engineer on the API client team. Ryan, let me pull him up.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Ryan. I got some cool stuff to demo that our team has been working on around LLM requests and MCP requests, kind of mixing them together, telling a bit of the end-to-end experience as a developer. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. So this is Postman Prod. So this is available today. We have a new tab here in AI requests. This is going to be the tools tab. So what are tools real quick? Here is an MCP server, and MCP servers have these things called tools. So let's connect to this server using the MCP client. Here we are able to see that this server has a bunch of tools. Things like navigate, screenshot. So this is actually not my server. This is one of the example servers provided by the MCP SDK, just some things they have as examples for you to use. This server in particular lets you do cool things like pull up web pages. It starts up its own instance of Chrome, screenshots, click and kind of browse the internet. And this will be relevant for the rest of the demo, but thought I would give you a quick intro on some tools and kind of how they work. These are basically REST endpoints that are not meant to be hit by humans and are more often than not likely to be hit by an LLM during a tool call. So going back to the AI request, we now have this tool section. I will actually remove this for now and add it again. So let's say that you are a MCP developer working on your MCP server. You finally have it in a state where it's all ready to go. You've done your testing, and you know with manual inputs, your tools work, and they're all fine and dandy. Now you want to make sure that an LLM can hit them correctly. That's the whole point of having an MCP server. So this next step is kind of important. This is our tools tab, and it lets you attach tools from MCP servers, MCP requests. These are saved in Postman, things you've sent before, even some cool things from the MCP catalog on Postman. So this add server bar is going to show you your 5, or I guess even more than that, some saved things, such as like this is like the last thing I connected to that you just saw me connect to. Here's some other things that I have in my history. Here you can also find more servers on the Explore page. Shout outs to the band team for this. In fact, you can even search up some cool servers here. Like if I were to look this up, we can see all these servers from the catalog that you can go ahead and pull up to use. For this demo, I'm going to pull up the one that we just saw. We'll use the automatic name. All right, and here are all the tools that we saw in the MCP client. Some cool things you can do here are turn on the server, rename the server. You have access to all your tools. More often than not, you want to limit the amount of tools that you want to send. So I'm going to deselect a few of these just to, use less tokens. Abhinav will thank me for this later, I bet. So we have these tools selected here. We also have the ability to edit our config. This is any old MCP config, which is quite nice. You can actually take it. Most GitHub pages for MCP servers have something like this, so you can actually put it in here as well, and you can skip the whole add server part. But we also have this area here, which is another way to search the catalog. Same example as before. These are all cool things that you can add, especially if you're looking for MCP servers that are run by like major tech companies that you want to use their MCP servers for. It's a very quick and easy way to add it. So that about sums up the flow for adding it. So I thought I'd add a quick story for the rest of this demo. When I joined this company not that long ago, Dustin, my manager, had us go to a dev drink up. There, I got to meet a tech influencer, T3 Theo, and first thing he tells me is some not very nice things about Postman. So we appreciate the feedback.
No.
We appreciate the feedback, but because of that, we will be using his YouTube channel as context for this video. So I don't know about you guys, but I was working on my demo last night, so I'm a little bit tired. And once this live stream goes down, I think we're going to take a nap. So we can put in some prompts like, I'm about to take a nap after this demo. I always put a YouTube video on when I go to sleep. So could you put on the latest video I wrote it down over here. To fall asleep watching. So this prompt without any tools doesn't really mean anything. The LLM cannot do that much. But now that we've attached an MCP server that lets us navigate the web, we can now send this, and boom, a browser window opens up with a YouTube ad. Thank you, YouTube, for making me watch ads on everything. And we can actually see that two tool calls were made. The first one is that the Puppeteer server that I attached earlier was called and was sent to this URL, which is correct. That is what we saw on the browser. And then it was followed up by a click of the most recent video. So that's pretty cool. I didn't tell the LLM to do any of that. It decided which tools to pick and what to call it with all by itself. All I did was provide the server, which is a pretty powerful concept in itself.
That's really incredible. Like the automation of what you just did. And also for those of you who haven't used Postman's MCP servers, if you go to getmcp.dev, also you can scan this QR code on the top of the screen, and that'll take you to Postman's MCP servers. And then this feature that Ryan just demoed is live right now. If you click on new AI request and then click on tools, you'll be able to do that.
Yep. And that about wraps it up. So if you're trying to test out your tools, or you want to go ahead and use some tools that are already out there with an LLM, this is a pretty easy way to do it. The team and I have been working on this for we've been working pretty hard at it for a little bit, and we're very proud of what we put out. So we'd love for you to try it. Leave any feedback. Let us know what you think.
Amazing. Thanks, Ryan.
And actually, after me, I believe next is Dinesh. So passing the mic to him.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Let me just share the screen.
Awesome. And Dinesh, I think if it's possible to zoom in on your screen, because I think some people have different resolutions on their screens. So if you can zoom in just a little bit.
Okay.
And also, don't forget everyone to
now?
post questions in the chat for all of our presenters throughout this.
Right. Cool. Hello, everyone. So today I'll just have a quick demo of generation of MCP server from internal collection. So this was a most feature from a user. So we shipped the generation for the public network. So there was a lot of request MCP server from the collection. So yeah, we recently added this
We might be having some internet issues with some Wi-Fi right now. I'm gonna give it just a second to catch up. Dinesh, are you there? I think there might be some technical issues, so we're gonna go to the next presenter and then we'll come back to Dinesh. All right, so I'm gonna bring up our next presenter is Nishat. So I'm gonna pull in Nishat. All right, hello and welcome.
No, I think Nishat, you pulled the wrong guy.
Oh, look at that. Hi, Nishat.
Hey, hello. Am I audible?
Yep, we can hear you. Nishat, what are you going to demo today?
So we'll look at multi-file support for OpenAPI in Spec Hub. So hello everyone, Nishat here. So we'll walk over through the multi-file support for how multi-file support works for OpenAPI specs in Postman app today. Just a quick overview about OpenAPI. It is a standard way to define your RESTful APIs in a document or a file. Ideally, these specs come in a single file, but as your API grows, that file can get really large, which makes it really tough to manage and collaborate on. To solve this, you can break down your single OpenAPI file into multiple smaller files. This makes it easier to reuse components and keep things optimized. Let me share my screen and walk you through an example of how this looks like.
Awesome.
Let me know if it's visible.
All right. Yep.
Can you see my Postman? Okay.
We can see it.
Cool. Here on my screen, I have a single file OpenAPI spec that defines an API for Postman workspaces. As you can see, there are around 6 endpoints in this, and already this file is reaching 3,000 lines. Now, as more people start collaborating on this spec and as the API grows over time, this single file will become quite large and difficult to manage. So instead of using this big file, I've created a broken down version of the same spec, which I will import now. So this time, instead of importing a single file, I'll select a folder that contains all the separate files from my OpenAPI spec and choose to go with OpenAPI 3.0 spec along with the collection. While this is being imported, let me walk you through the file and folder structure that we are bringing in. So we are starting with the main file, and then there are a few folders in it. Instead of putting all the paths in one file, I've grouped them into one folder. So each path has its own file. The same goes for reusable components like schemas, responses, examples, and so on. And so each of these components are organized into their own files, and they are grouped together neatly. This way, people can focus on a smaller part of their spec, which optimizes their workflow. Now, back in the Postman app, you can see that Postman imported two things. It created a collection out of the multi-file spec, and it also created a spec for it. When you open the spec, the first thing that you'll notice is the file folder sidebar right below. I'll just zoom in a little bit. It is easy to split a spec in multiple files. You can just right click on the spec itself and click on add file, or you can create new files and folders from the plus icon in the sidebar below. You can create a new folder from here. You can also rename it right from here, and you can even drag and drop to organize your folders as per your structure, right? Now, with a lot of files, it can get a bit tricky to know which file to edit when you want to make a change. But thanks to Postman's outline support, you can see all your endpoints at a glance in one place, and you can navigate to any of these files just by clicking on it. So you can click on any of these requests, and Postman will take you straight to that file and location in that spec.
This is really incredible.
It is also
Nishat, just for those users who maybe are brand new to Spec Hub or have never used Spec Hub, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So Spec Hub is everything about specification. So specification, like I mentioned, it's like a textual representation of your RESTful APIs. So if you're dealing with async APIs or REST APIs or anything, if you're dealing with open APIs, async APIs, Postman Spec Hub is the place that you can come in and build everything around it. You can author it, you can consume it, you can do a lot of things, and there are a lot of things in the pipeline that we're building for it. So anything specification related, Spec Hub is the solution for it.
Yeah, it's a really amazing tool.
So just like I said, so with a lot of files, it is hard to figure out which file is there for which change, right? So you can click on the outline, and it's also easy to navigate to different files by command clicking. So just like in VS Code, you would command click, it will take you to the right file and right location in Postman app itself. So it's just like an ID. Rendering JSON and YAML snippets is quite manually is quite hectic. So you don't have to worry about that. In Postman, you can use the outline itself and click on the plus icon to add uh, more data to your spec. So for example, here I tried to add a request here, and Postman was able to figure out which file to add it to and which location to add it to. So let's say I added a patch request here in my spec. Now, in your spec, because it is text, it's just like code, it can have problems. Now, validation pane, on the other hand side, it gives you all the information that you would want about your spec. And now it is smarter to understand which file the problem is coming from. So you'll get all the exact line numbers and the file names that the problems are originating from. All the linting and syntax errors, you can see it here. Live preview, one of the important features where you just don't want to deal with text representation, you also want to see how it would look for the end users. Live preview is something that will tell you how it will look for the end users, and this is available for every file. So if you, let's say for example, currently it is only showing up for operations. If I search for a response component, by the way, you can also search for files from the sidebar right here. I can open a file that represents the response. I can click on it and I will see the live preview for that particular response now. Obviously, because this is live preview, you can update this and see the updates in real time on the right hand side as well. So that was all about like multi-file, and like you saw, multi-file has its own advantages of how it can ease the collaboration, but sometimes you would also want a single file version of a multi-file spec. So let's say you bring in multi-file spec to Postman, but uh, you would definitely need a single file spec at some point. This becomes important when you are using it in downstream services like CI/CD gateways and all of that. To support this, all you can do is you can just go to the specification ID, bring it to Postman, copy the spec ID, and Postman has a support for a public API for the same. You paste the spec ID there and send a request, and for that multi-file spec, Postman will give a single file bundled version of your spec, which then you can use in any test environment or any gateways. So that was all about multi-file. We have built a lot of things around it that I did not cover in the last 5 minutes. Please do give it a try and check it out and give us your feedback. With that, I'll hand it over to Hariharan for the next demo. Thank you so much.
I think we're actually going to go to Dinesh. We're going to see if we can connect with Dinesh. Thank you so much, Nishat. All right. Hi, Dinesh.
Hello. Hi. Sorry for my internet. Let me share the screen. Yeah. Is my screen visible? All good?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So today I'll have like a quick demo of generation of MCP server for internal collection, and then publish to internal catalog system. So this was one of the most requested feature from user. So when we added the capabilities to MCP server generation for public network, people were asking for having the same capability for the internal collection. So we just added this capability to the agent mode. Yeah, now let's just have a quick demo of it. So right in front of me, there is an internal collection collaboration RFA. So it has two requests to it, and these two requests powers the Postman RFA system. So one is to get or request for access for a particular collection, and another one is to approve or deny it. So let's say I want to generate an RFA for this, and I use prompt for it, generate MCP server for this collection. Yeah, I'm giving the prompt. Yeah. So it will find the collection and then start generating an MCP server for these two requests.
This is really incredible. And what Dinesh is showing right now is part of agent mode, and agent mode is coming into beta soon. I'm going to get everyone a link for that.
Yep. Perfect. I think now the MCP server is generated in the online, and then in the server, and then it is downloaded in the local. So let's just check the configuration. Yeah, perfect. So now the MCP server is downloaded, and then the config for running the MCP server is also added to the settings. So when we generate an MCP server, we also take care of stripping down of any of the sensitive data which are present in the request, and then replace that with a vault variable so that user can configure it. So here, as you can see, there are two auth variables which are involved, and we have to configure those vault. Now I use agent for it. Perfect. It created two vault variables. Let me just go and configure values for it. Perfect. Now added values, and yeah. Now let me just refresh the MCP server. Let me do the refresh. Yeah. Yeah, so now the server is restarted, and then it is running locally. It takes the latest values from the vault. Now let's try to use some of the tools which here. Let me just find one collection ID for this. Right. Yeah, as you can see, it identified the right tool to use this MCP server. Let me run it. And wait. So it is able to hit this endpoint and then get the exact RFA details for this. And let me also approve this RFA.
While Dinesh is doing that, I just want to remind everyone, if you have questions for Dinesh or any of the other presenters, make sure you post them in the chat and we'll make sure we get to them.
Yep. As for the tool approval, let me approve it. Perfect. So now, as you can see, I can able to approve this RFA, and then I can able to achieve this one workflow to it. So now this MCP server is also published to the team. So which means like anyone in the team can also consume this out of MCP server and then use it to run it in local. So let me also show you the list of MCP servers in this team.
Okay, we do have one question, Dinesh, while that's loading. Is this
Yep.
feature, is it only for paid users or for all users?
So currently, I think this is enabled with the agent mode. I think this agent mode itself is enabled for, it's not fully GA yet. So yeah, so we'll be soon enabling for everyone.
Yeah, right now.
So this currently enabled for few.
Yeah, we're going to be going into an agent mode beta, and then after beta, it'll be in GA. So it's not quite fully available yet, but if you go to that link, the link that we posted, I'll post the link again. You guys can find out more about like when it's going to be available.
Yep. Cool. So as you can see, like currently our Postman team has this many internal MCP servers. I can consume any of these MCP servers in my local and then add it to the settings. Yep. That's all I have. Yeah. Feel free to add any questions or any feedback to the chat. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Dinesh.
Yeah. I think Hariharan. Yeah.
Great.
So, hello everyone, great to meet you all. And I'm Hariharan. I'm a software engineer from the workspaces team here at Postman. And today I'll be demoing a new feature that we have developed, which is going to be view counts and collections. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Oops. Hope my screen is visible to you guys.
Yep, we can see it.
Yep. So I'm here and I'm just like navigating to one of the workspaces here that we have at Postman. And if you look at the collection meta and info section here on the right, we've added one new widget over here. And this is the feature that I'm going to be demoing today. And we've developed this because we heard a lot of pain points from users when it comes to workspace collaboration. Mainly, one use case that we heard about was that users wanted to have more team awareness as to who's viewing what in the workspaces. So, for example, if you have these four different collections in a workspace, and I want to know, okay, has, for example, Abhinav viewed this collection. So people wanted more awareness and visibility on who is viewing what. And adding these view counters helps us keep track of who has viewed what and at what time. So that was one of the pain points that this feature is trying to solve. And apart from that, we also heard some pain points from API producers and consumers. So as an end user, right? Imagine you navigate to a workspace. You have like four different collections over here, and generally people have a hard time identifying which one are the most useful or the most popular workspaces. So while we have this in the public workspaces, a clear view count, we didn't used to have this in the internal workspaces. So now you could just like go and click all of the collection overviews, and you could just figure out how many people have viewed each of these collections, right? And you can see that here this collection only has like 6 views, and this collection has like around 62 views. So you could kind of like use your intuition and guess that this is one of the more popular or one of the more used collections. And similarly, from API producer perspective, let's say you publish all of your APIs in a specific collection like this. For example, let's assume I, as a producer, just made this Chronicle service and I just put it in a collection. I want to understand how this is performing, and I want to get some insights as to how this is performing compared to other collections in the workspace. So I can just kind of see, I mean, that this has 30 views and workspace service has like 62 views, right? So it kind of gives me more pointers and more context to understand how my content is performing. So while we only added it for the collection overview right now, we'll be soon adding it at the folder level and the request level. So we'll be adding it in the folder meta section as well and in the request level as well soon. And the long-term vision that we have for this feature is basically kind of capturing all the invisible engagement that is going on. So imagine you might be clicking a lot of things, you might be viewing a lot of things, and you interact with the workspaces in a different way. And we want to capture all of this and convert it into kind of some visible insights that are actually usable by the end user. So yeah, that's the long-term vision for this product. And yeah, that's it from my side. Back to you, Talia.
Thank you so much. That was great. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to post questions in the chat. It says, oh, I think we have one regarding workspace collaboration to have an icon and count for open PRs like we do for forks. I think Postman has an integration with GitHub that allows you to see a lot of the GitHub information in Postman. So I think this is either out or being worked on, right, Hariharan?
Yep. So we'll definitely look into this. A lot of UI revamp is being considered right now when it comes to workspace collaboration. So yeah,
Right.
this is certainly something that we'll look at.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Thanks, Hariharan.
Thank you.
And don't forget, you guys, scan the QR code. I'll put it back up for the Workspaces API. There it is. All right, I'm going to give everyone another minute to ask any questions you have, any comments you want to share with the team. And with that, I'll just say thank you for joining us. And as a reminder, you can experiment with everything you just saw now in your account. And be sure to subscribe to our newsletter and catch the latest issue. It was actually published this morning. I'll post the QR code for that too. There it is. Cool. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks for a fresh set of demos and a fresh set of what's coming to Postman and what was just released.